Hi, my name is Liz and welcome back. So in this video, I am going to share 7 reasons why not to move to Richmond, Virginia. Make sure you stay tuned to the last one because it's going to be another surprise. All right, here we go. So some reasons why you don't want to move to Richmond. And so we're going to start off with number 7. And number 7 is really public transportation. You know, if you are from a big city like New York City or even in Pennsylvania, I grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and we had a pretty solid public transportation system. I actually just walked or took the bus everywhere. I knew where the bus, you know, was gonna leave me, was gonna take me, and how much time. And so here we're kind of really spread out, and so it doesn't necessarily work as smoothly as those areas. So if you are a person who depends on public transportation, you know, it may be kind of like difficult for you to be here because you really need a car. So you would have to add that into your budget if you're planning to move to Richmond, that the best way to get around is really just driving yourself or having somebody drive you versus public transportation. We don't have the greatest public transportation. If that's what you need, then Richmond is not for you. So number 6 is, you know, here in Richmond we have lots and lots of trees. You know, we have a nice blue skies sometimes. However, you look a little bit down and you'll see a lot of trees. So it's not like areas like Texas or in other areas where, you know, there is a lot of desert and you have a nice, you know, just wide sky. If that's what you like and that's what you need to feel like it's just an endless horizon and you're in a big space, then Richmond is not for you, because here there's a lot of trees and you feel more like you're in a tunnel, driving in a tunnel, even when you're driving down the highway here. And we're not talking about like big pine trees, lots of pine trees and sequoias, just, you know, just kind of like a lot of trees, period. And so when you're driving down the highway, more looks like a tunnel and narrow versus just a wide open space where you wouldn't see that many trees. If you know, if you like that wide open space and that clear sky and not that many trees, then Richmond is not for you, because there is lots of trees here, and it just kind of covers all the areas. Wherever you go, there's just trees everywhere, and I actually like it that way. I love looking at trees, and you know, I get bored really fast if it's just a plain old sky and nothing there, especially like I said in the previous video, the fall, when you have all those colors, beautiful colors of trees, and you're just driving and it's a beautiful scenery. But if that's not your thing, then Richmond is definitely not for you. So moving on to number 5 reason why Richmond may not be for you is, you know, here we don't have, you know, rocky mountains like Rocky Mountains to say it that way. If you're used to, you know, high hills and high mountains, you know, these mountains may be little foothills in comparison to what, you know, you're used to or what you're looking for. So we do have some mountains, maybe if we drive 2.5 hours away from here, where, you know, what we would consider mountains, but maybe not in other states like Montana. If that's your thing, if you like to be within the mountains and you like to look at the huge scenery of mountains, we are surrounded, you know, there's other cities in Virginia, they are like surrounded by mountains, but not those huge mountains that you would like to see in other states. So number 4 reason as to why Richmond may not be for you is that, you know, Richmond is nice. Richmond is, like I said in another video, it's a really cool place, but it may not be as impressive as other cities out. It's really laid back. You know, it's like I said, it's more spread out. So when we talk about Richmond, we're not only talking about Richmond City, we're talking about also other areas. There's other cities, they're more like what would some people say would be suburbs, but it's all kind of encompassing into the Richmond, Virginia area, such as places like Chesterfield and Henrico and Glen Allen, and even as far as Powhatan. Those are, you know, further out from the city, some maybe 15-20 minutes from the city. And so, you know, when we talk about Richmond, is not as impressive maybe as like New York City or Philadelphia. You know, you're not, you know, it's not, or even Virginia Beach. When you go down to Virginia Beach oceanfront, like, you know, you want to see the Virginia Beach oceanfront, that's not necessarily going to be as impressive as going to the beaches in Florida, or, you know, where you get more blue beaches. You know, it's not, you know, it's not that impressive. You're not going to get the Grand Canyon here, you know, but, you know, you're going to get friendly people. You're going to get a lot of food and a lot of entertainment, but it's not necessarily, you know, as impressive as maybe some other cities that, you know, are out there. So, and with that said, number 3 would be that it's not as high, uptight, you know, clubbing and all of that stuff. Especially, we do have a university, VCU downtown, and you would think, you know, you do have some kind of life there, but not a huge nightlife. Most of those students are studying, which this is what they should do, right? But, you know, as far as the nightlife and the hype, Richmond is not necessarily that type of place. You know, like we said, there's a lot of recreational things to do. It's nice and laid back. A lot of trees, a lot of, you know, air to enjoy, a lot of camaraderie, but not necessarily pumping it up. Maybe like other cities like Miami, or again New York, or even DC. You know, you're gonna get definitely more of a awake type of city, versus here that may be too sleepy. So then that leads me to number 2 reason why you may not think, and this is a big one. So number 2 reason is, you know, the pollen, allergies, the ragweed. Pollen is awful. Allergies are a big thing here. In Central Virginia is actually ranked, if I'm not mistaken, number 2 or number 3 worst in the United States for allergies. So if you have allergies to outside things, especially pollen, Richmond, Virginia may not be for you. We do have great service here though for, you know, allergies, for people with allergies who need a doctor. I have allergy-induced asthma, but my allergies are mostly inside, like molds and stuff like that, dogs and cats, which may be an issue with molds with the humidity, but we'll talk about that in a minute. However, but you know, there's a lot of people who have allergies outside, you know, to pollen or to ragweeds or to, you know, things outside. And so if you are an individual that has seasonal allergies or has allergies to stuff outside, like I said earlier, we have a lot of trees, a lot of flowers. Pollen is crazy, you know, here in the spring it gets yellow outside and everything is yellow. And if that's you, then Richmond, Virginia is not for you, because you're not going to be happy here. I mean, it's going to be rough for someone who has a lot of allergies, especially to seasonal allergies. And number 1 reason why you definitely should not move to Richmond, Virginia is these winter and summers are super humid. And the summer particularly, you know, the humidity goes up to 70%, and it's like walking into a sauna outside. So it gets really, really hot, and if you're outside and you're driving and you need to find parking and there are no trees, see, this is where the trees come in handy. This is where the trees come in handy, because the summers get really humid and hot. And so when it's summer and you're driving and you need to park, this is, you know, finding the tree to find that shade is of utmost importance and wonderful, because when you get into that car and you're parked out in the pavement out in the sun wide open, and that sun is beaming on your car, and you go to sit in those nice leather seats, it's going to be hot and it's going to burn, and you're gonna sweat just getting in your car. If you don't like humid summers, yeah, Richmond is not for you. We don't get many, we may get a few, but we don't get dry summers here like San Antonio, maybe, you know, Midwest, where the air is a little bit drier. Arizona here is not dry. It's very humid. So those are the reasons why you should not move to Richmond, Virginia. I hope this was an informative video for you. And if, once again, if you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so that you get more videos like this about living in Richmond, Virginia. Thank you once again. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.